God's really, really, really doing an amazing work on me, and He's really opening my eyes to so much that I haven't even began to see until recently. And I'm in a place of reflection of my whole journey from the beginning of my walk with Christ to now, and I feel like there's some things I really just want to share, because I think that we can get down the wrong path when we start our journey that can take us out of the original love of Christ that He had for us since the beginning. And I think that maybe it could help someone that might be going through the same thing today. So I'm just going to share a little bit about my journey and a little bit about my path to kind of break some things down for you. I hope it helps someone too. All my life, I've always been aware of the spiritual realm, and growing up, as small as I can remember, I think I was 3 years old the first time I actually remember hearing and seeing demons, and I was very, 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 very aware of the reality of the evil realm spiritually, but at that point I didn't know the love of Christ. I didn't know God. I was very hopeless, and because of that. And when I was about 10 years old, God radically showed Himself to me and consumed me inside out with His Holy Ghost, and I had a radical, amazing encounter with Him. And after that, I knew how real He was and that He loved me, and that began to change something. But what confused me about God was that I had this radical, amazing encounter with Him, and I now knew His reality was real, and that He was fighting for me and loving me, even though all the other evil things were, that He was showing me that He wins. And I got that at a very early age, but what I didn't understand was, how could I feel this radical, amazing love and passion and creativity in this spirit, yet when I looked around in the building of where I met Him, I wasn't seeing that love in the people there. I wasn't seeing the creativity, the passion, the excitement, the freedom, all the things that I felt from the Spirit of God. I did not see in the people around the environment where I first met Him, and that left me confused for all the rest of the years. But God, being who God is, He never stopped pursuing me. He never stopped putting His presence so much in my life that I knew He was always there. So when I was about 15 years old, I went to a church camp, and when I went to that church camp, I was suffering from abuse. I was addicted to drugs. I was addicted to alcohol. I was in a place of complete hopelessness, like completely hopeless. I didn't care about anything, especially myself. And when I went there, people from all over the world came to share their testimony. And this one lady got up and she shared her testimony about being abused and getting addicted to sex and that path. And what was amazing about it was the hope that she shared, where her life was at that point now, since she met. So when she started explaining that the Lord had turned her entire life around, and that He brought her to a man of God who loved her and embraced her for who she was, and let go of her past as Christ had, it gave me hope, and it let me know that other people were out there suffering this abuse and going through these things as well. At that point, I felt like I was the only one in the world, because the devil had me that convinced that I was alone and I was suffering through this, and I was all alone. And even though God was right there pursuing me, I said, God, no, You let this happen to me so You can leave me alone. And I hated God for a while. I was really mad. I never doubted His existence, but I didn't understand Him. And I didn't understand why He would let these things happen to me if He loved me. So that night at the church camp, I was 15 years old, just realized for the first time that other people were really going through this and that there was hope. And as I was walking from the conference to the showers at the camp, that's when the first time that God spoke to me audibly in the shower, and he said, "Daughter, I want you to shine like the sun for my glory." And I felt so much love. It scared me, but I was ready. I was ready to give up everything. I knew that this was the only way to get out of all these demons that were tormenting me. I knew it, but I didn't know how to pursue that. So I came back. I was on fire. I stood up at this church. I got a microphone and I said, "Hey, guess what, guys? Jesus talked to me and he loves me and it's awesome." But see, I didn't really understand who Jesus was. I understood that God was the Spirit, but my understandings of Jesus himself didn't make any sense to me at that time. I just knew that there was a Spirit in my life, and I called him God, and he always pursued me, and he always let me know that I was loved. In the midst of the most evil, disgusting, terrible situations that I was in, he was always there saying, "I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you." So I knew whenever I came to him, when I fully met him, that my life would forever be changed, and that scared me. And that's one of the things that kept me in sin. It kept me living the lifestyle I did for so long, because I was scared of how much he was asking, and because I knew it was going to be everything. There was no middle ground. I knew it was going to be everything. So the final breaking point was my 25th birthday. I went with some friends on my birthday to float the river. We did some shrooms, and the whole drive, because it was about a 2-hour drive from my house, the whole drive there, I was listening to some nonsense music, like F this, F that, I'm cool, blah, 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 blah. But the whole time I was just acting cool and smoking cigarettes and drinking, I felt his voice and his presence just saying, "Just let it go, come to me." And I was getting so mad that he wouldn't leave me alone, that I was just like, "Man, just leave me alone. Like, let me just do what I want to do. I don't want to live a boring life. Like, let me just have fun. Like, leave me alone." That's basically, I was saying that in my mind to him. No one around knew, but I knew, and I was getting so mad that he just wouldn't leave me alone. So we get to the river, we float the river, and we end up doing shrooms, and I'm just sitting there. And the moment I started I dropped some shrooms the first time, I started seeing demons, and I started hearing demons around, and I felt them, and I knew what was going on. And about an hour later, all of a sudden, the hardness that was around my heart just started completely shattering, and I just felt love consuming me from the inside out. And I looked up to the sky, and it was a straight tunnel of light. It was like a beaming light that was coming straight from the sky, and it pierced through my whole being, and everything in me just got broken in a million pieces, and it was just love consuming me, and it was like, "I love you." And I couldn't run from that. Not anymore.